What up? What up? Good morning and welcome back. Welcome back to another live session. Hope you guys are feeling good, doing well. It seems like QCLS is going to be the one here as we're getting a little bit of continuation relative to yesterday's move. You know what? What was the other one? Dang, my memory with the ticker symbols. IRBT. How did that one ended up finishing out? It did make that new high. Looks like today it sold off. Okay. I was here watching at it. I didn't take any trades, but it did continue in its move. Man, I tell you that red to green, man, that dang red to green, I tell you. It ended up giving a nice push though, from about 290 to 340, which is where I didn't really get back in, but you know, sometimes you got to just wait for the red to green, right? Not all the support levels will work right away every time. And so, giving the stocks that time to at least show a little bit more strength in the move up can be key. And with that being said, I think QCLS, I definitely want to start paying more attention to this one now so that once we get closer to the open, we're right where we need to be. It seems to be holding the VWAP for now. The key is going to be finding something that can give us a good front side. I did take a loss on one of these candlesticks. Which one was it? At 404. I don't know. At 02. I took a loss on this red candlestick here at 9:02 market time. You know, we finally had the breakout over, what was it, 60? Yeah, 69 and highs of 90. Took the dip down into the previous level, just didn't hold up. Long 73, 75 and out at 55, 52. It just kind of teleported down. My stop in there was about 66, 65. So the slippage, not what we would want to see. So red 165 to start, which is a little annoying because we want to see some follow through here. We didn't see anything great just yet, so hopefully we can see something good, at least good, in terms of follow through as we're coming into the open here. I think I'm going to start even slower than I did yesterday. I still put a little bit of size, but today I think even smaller size until we can really see something. But if something can really open up, that's where right away we want to try and get to it size-wise. But if nothing is moving up and able to hold up, then it's just not worth it. There's just too much risk in like having losses without, seeing a steady move. So QCLS really is my top stock here. I'm going to check out some other ones though. Let's see. KALA, how are we doing? Doesn't really look great. Yeah, Facebook is an interesting company, right? From $100 to 800. The stock market, I tell you. Anyhow, QCLS, we got highs for pre-market at 590. The key will be for a stock like this to get up to $6.50, $7. If we can do that, then we can really get a successful move out of this thing. Yesterday's highs at 570. More more reason as to why the breakout trade that we had there, was looking good, taking over yesterday's levels, but we kind of had the rejection there. So we're consolidating right below that level. And I think if we're able to get above it and hold, then we stand a good chance at opening up there to 6 and then perhaps 650. But for now, we're seeing some pullback. Yeah, PMCB. Hold on, guys. Give me a quick sec here. By the way, don't forget our disclaimer, all right? Remember that day trading is risky business. Do not trade with money that you cannot afford to lose. Be very careful, be very cautious. Remember that the risk is very present and that no one is immune to having a loss. So if you're not where you need to be, if your confidence is not where it needs to be, utilize the simulators and utilize small size up until you're able to be, consistent. So with that being said, yeah, trading is risky, and be very careful if it's your first time watching the channel. For me, I've been around for a while, and I'm in a place where I'm using very small size. My gains, my losses, they're all relative and manageable. If you're newer to the game, be very careful and do not get caught slipping in these streets. Wall Street, that is, because Wall Street is as vicious as the real streets. They'll take your money too. They'll take your money. So be very careful. So time, it's 23. It is 23. Actually, it's 24. My screen recording is good. As mentioned, I'm a bit of a red start here, down 160 on QCLS false breakout right here on this candlestick. Let me see, what other things can I use here? I think the arrow could work right on this candlestick here. And the arrow could have looked a little bit better, maybe. Let's see, lock. What else do they have here? Let's see. Well, they have everything is what it looks like. On the days where we are seeing the better moves, we really have to do a better job at like getting the size, That's going to be the key. I know a couple of people in the chat room are still on vacation. Hopefully they're doing well, staying safe. For those of us who are here, as we know, there's no better place to be than in front of the screens, improving, getting better, dialing it in, and looking forward to the opportunities. We got 5 minutes till market open. For me, it's another beautiful day. Yesterday, our first day back after a couple days. I felt like the trading was okay. We just didn't see a lot of follow through. We were down 230 in one account and 300 in another. Not a terrible day, all things considered, but I think maybe the one area where we could have done better is just, maybe being a little bit more aggressive to take more trades later in the day when we did see something hold up a little bit better. Granted, we weren't in a good rhythm, but sometimes just staying there and just watching and watching and just putting out some trades is the way to go. I did stick around quite a bit to see the move to 320, but again, didn't take any trades. Kind of said to myself, hey, we're at a bit of a max loss between the accounts. Take it easy, but probably was a day to just still go ahead and like, hey, this one is holding up a little bit better. Let's just try to see if we can't gain that rhythm again with some smaller size maybe, and then try to get back into it for some good damage control, maybe a flat day or small green day, depending on how well things could have went, right? But besides that, most of yesterday was just a slow start in terms of stocks holding up. We had some good looking opportunities that just faded out pretty quickly. Stocks halting up that just instantly Christmas tree in three candles, or a good red to green to the VWAP, bullish signs dropping out 10 cents on a 30-cent, 40-cent stock, 50-cent stock, just some craziness, right? So today we got to be careful for early weakness. But besides that, if we're able to see something hold up, whether it's an hour into the day or a little later, even if we're not in a rhythm, we got to use some smaller size, try to get ourselves going there. But follow through is the name of the game. Follow through is what we love. We love follow through. We'll get married to follow through. We'll go down on one knee. We'll go down on one knee right now to get married to follow through, right? Follow through will get us paid. So we're on a big flag here. We've had higher lows, right? If we're looking at it, right, in a bigger frame here. We've also been seeing lower highs recently here into the flag. So can we hold the VWAP level and slowly curl up, retesting the pre-market highs? Yesterday's high, 568, 570, around that area there. And so we want to get through that level and continue to the upside. Definitely will be keeping my eye on other opportunities as well to see what else is, holding up. PMCB, stocks like that. We'll see if there's something there. KALA, PMI, and others. We've been decreasing in volume here into the open, so we'll see if, we'll see if it's dead or if we get something else. There's some volume early. The halt is 603. Early test of that level there, 90. I'm not impressed with the first minute. I want to see how well we hold up over time. How well can we hold up over time is going to be the key on a stock like this. So for me, it's going to be small size, just watching. The halt is now 631. PMCB, we're seeing a small red to green. Definitely a bit of a slow start here. QCLS, we're still holding up the VWAP at least. We'll see if it's able to get going over time. And there's a break below the VWAP. As of right now, I think it's a little choppy, but we're holding up. Noticing I have 80 shares here at 70. An order that I thought I canceled. So it looks like I got filled there. I mean, it's 80 shares, doesn't matter, but IRBT. I don't know. This one just doesn't seem like it's gonna be the one. It's still early though. Can we hold 68? Let me see if I get filled. This is gonna be interesting. It's fighting here, which is good. I had an order out at low 70s, didn't get filled. But I canceled the order and I was watching to see if it's still filled because, it seemed like that happened before, which in itself would have been an issue. So, let's see what it does. It's fighting here. It's holding up. I do like that we've seen high of day volume after the open, which is good. We're in a good position here for the stock to continue. Bit of a rejection there of the whole dollar. Watching for starters here. Can we hold our previous pivot? On all these dips, it's like I'm only getting the starter, right? Like it's such a tight pullback there relative to how low I thought we could have went. So only in a couple hundred shares. It has a bit of a range to it in terms of the spreads. There's a good push through the whole dollar. So again, I had no size there on that nice trade, you know. Maybe I just need to take a bigger starter. I don't know. Ah, man. It's a nice trade, but no size. It's a really nice trade. So those are the trades that I really need to, you know, but hopefully we get another opportunity here. It is holding up well here. But I'm not going to force any trades, just going to keep being patient. Holding 5 shares at 79.78 average. And hoping for another chance. Attempted a breakout there. It doesn't seem like it wants to pull back, but you know, it's not quite instant. So waiting. All right. Waiting patiently, watching and waiting. The breakout is a little tough because, we're moving a little slower, right? Normally, I'd love a breakout in this situation, but will it just take off here? It's just hard to say. We're seeing volume, but it's still kind of up and down here. So we had a great trade from 79 up to like 610, 620. We sold all the way through, but we haven't had a chance to really get back in. And this is like, the backside could literally come in the next candle. Just a little frustrating to not be able to capture the move properly, despite capturing the move, you know. And I mean, I would have expected a dip after 6:30. We had no dip really, so it's hard to say, but we'll see what it continues to do here. And this is definitely a little bit more tricky to trade with the tighter pullbacks because once the bigger flush comes, if you're in there, you're gonna get destroyed. You're gonna get discombobulated. I'm gonna throw out the starter, and I'm gonna watch here to see what it does. But gotta be careful of this being a bigger pullback though. Yeah, I'm gonna cut that. Okay, I'm gonna cut. Yeah, that was a good cut. That was a nice cut. That was a good cut, brother. Yeah, our 5 minute candlestick turned red, so now we're getting the 5 minute pullback. But is this gonna be backside? Are we just gonna flush out to like 570? Or will this thing hold up a key level here? So I'm gonna take another starter again and see what it does. If it sells off all the way to like 570, 560, again, we're just seeing a very short front side move and then just nothing. So this is going to be a big level here, plus or minus the next 20 cents or so. The VWAP is at 580. But do we need to go from 650 to 580 after inching up slowly over time? So, for me, I think the best bet is just, maybe waiting a little bit more patiently here and watching the red to green. Ay, ay, ay. Looks like a false breakout there. So the red to green, a bit of a false breakout. Taking another starter here. A bigger push this time going up. Let's see if it's able to hold. Did somebody just cover some shares maybe? There's a bid. Everything is playing out so slow that it's like a little tough to like slam size for me, right? But I think over time we'll get, get a little bit more used to it. Like just slamming some size in some of those areas. Like we made a new low by like 2 cents, and it just jumped 20 cents in price. So it's like I'm in the same position again, right? Like I have shares at the bottom of this thing but no size. Because I'm expecting like, more of a range in the low. Like we literally held up 602 instead of like seeing like 592, 594, 590. I'm waiting like for a massive drop out to like boom, 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 boom. And there is no, like range there. There's just the bottom and that's it. Ah, man. This is a mockery. It is a mockery. Maybe we're retesting the lows here. See, that right there is what like I kind of would have thought would have happened on the last one, but we overshoot right there by a good amount, like from 22 down to 11, full 10 cents. You know, that's looking like, hey, we're gonna retest those lows, but it held up for a little bit at least. We'll see. KALA curled up a little bit. Got to be careful of the retest of the lows right here. Are short sellers in control? I don't think so, not just yet. Can we hold up the support again? Big levels. Oh, it's pretty early, but it's fine. Um, it looks decent here. The question is, can we continue? Where are those bulls? Can we see a retest of 30, 35? Our high of day levels at 50. So I'm in, I'm in here and just watching and waiting. The key is us holding up, of course. The candlestick also said we had a low of 590, which is not true. We had like 601. Maybe I might have missed something, but anyhows, will we get the breakout here is the key. Can we break out the small flag breakout here and the continuation into the new 5-minute candlestick? Watching and waiting. Watching and waiting. Oh, wow. That was good. That was really good. That was really good. The key is it continuing here if it's going to be something special. My average is 29. I'm still holding some shares. So 612 to 660 there. That was a good trade for me. Still holding some shares now at an average of 29 because I added at 25 on the breakout. Still not real size, but enough shares to make something. Will the stock continue to be strong? I think at this point, if I see something where it just indicates backside is where I want to stop. We've had a good size pullback here, but I don't think we're necessarily weak, at least not yet. So watching this candlestick as a reference point, and if we're breaking down, then I'm just going to stop right here. Right now, we're green about 500. We're holding 477 shares, 39. My average is a little higher now. And just watching to see how well it can hold up. The 5-minute candlestick really. 5-minute candlestick for me right now is the key. Can we hold up our 5-minute candlestick? If we can, then we stand a chance at making a new high over 50 and continuing to the upside. Selling some right there. Selling some, well, the same price. Didn't quite get higher price. Yeah, we needed to add, man. I needed to add a little bit more aggressively on that pullback right there. We got a little too comfortable in terms of not trying to lose. We just got to keep working on the size. We're holding at 39 average. The stock is at 80. We just need to keep working on our share size over time. And we got this. 90. We're now just holding like one share. The halt is at 7:15. Because everything moves so slow most of the times, it's like hard to even imagine a short squeeze in this environment. So, I guess there's still so much rust because I could have added down there, and it's like in your mind you're not even thinking the stock could go up to $7 this quickly. And it's so crazy to think that this was just happening. This was happening every 10 seconds in a market a year ago. 50-cent breakout was just a normal thing to see. Now I'm here surprised that the stock can go up 50 cents. We're still holding one share from 2039. We're just kind of watching here to see what it does into the new candlestick. Nothing too hasty. Just want to be careful. Follow through, bro. On every stock that's giving the follow through are standing a great chance of doing well. But the ones that are selling off early is where we're taking losses. So this stock, we're going to keep watching it until we get some obvious signs of weakness. And being that our bigger trades earlier came with smaller size, we still do have to keep in mind that if we size up, we can go back to flat very quickly. So we got to be careful. It is key to get in those good trades early to be able to manage risk. Because the more expensive we get, the more the risk. So we didn't really get a big pullback there. What was that low? 74 up to 710 here. We're plus 70 cents on our one share, which is crazy. I'm going to take it off the table. So right here, we're just opening up and we're not really seeing pullbacks, which makes it a little bit more difficult because the breakouts are so slow to take. Like I can buy the high right here, but are we going to continue? If I jump in right here, right now, will we continue to 750? I'm going to jump in small baby size because I have no confidence to take a real size here. Well, let's go to 750. There's 32. Can it surprise me? There's 35. Are we going to pull it off here? Back down to 20. It is tough to take the breakouts though. Typically, a breakout will have instant resolution, very quick. Once we take the high, let's say the high was 28. Once we get to 34, 40, 45, 50, we're still at 35 right here. It's like, it is a breakout, but, man, it's not the same. I'm holding a 2680 shares, no size really, just kind of seeing what it does. Okay, there's 50 actually. Wow. We got 49. Most impressive. I think I'm tempted to just buy it high because it looks like it's gonna keep going, but the risk in doing it is immense here. Am I gonna take a loss here? 45. Yep. Why did I do it? Why? Why did I do it? It's just not worth it, you know. With size, it's not worth it. It's too slow. But we got 52. You know, I'm green 7 cents there unrealized, but it's right back down to 45. And now we're seeing 30 here for a pullback. There's a bid at 25. It's being filled. I'm gonna take a starter here. Um, time. I think we look good on time, but I don't know if I'll get the shares that I want. But also got to be careful of this being a losing trade here. Big Steve, I know, man. I'm in the slums with size. I'm in the slums. Even this trade right here, I'm in 600 shares in the slums. In the absolute slums. My starter at 26, I'm selling at 50. Baby size, you know, once again. But it's adding up at least, right? We're getting some winning trades. We're now up to 700 bucks. It's going to happen slowly but surely. No need to rush. Can we hold that previous support? I'm actually going to cut this trade here, the rest of the position. Can we hold the previous support? It's a bit of a double top. Short sellers could be starting to load in right here. It's a possibility. I think if we break below 710, we could have some trouble. On the 5-minute context, we still look bullish, so I still want to continue to throw out shares. But if we break below 710, I want to be careful of a pullback. Can we hold the line here? The 5-minute candlestick is a little weaker, so got to be very careful. If it comes down, as long as it doesn't flush out. Okay, taking a small loss there. I'm on the sidelines here. My time will come. I just got to continue to be patient. Well, we'll take the 600 bucks, right? Recovering yesterday's losses. Where I could not imagine myself holding for 3 minutes in a trade, you know? It's crazy. 1 minute candle to make the new high. Are we on to something here? Is this it? Is this the end of the line? Or will the stock still find some more buyers here? Hyper scalping. Now there's a new scalping. We gotta invent a new name here over time. But I still want another month. I need another month to like to really, you know, be at full power, I'll say. And finally this long 10,000 year sideways consolidation will come to an end as we start to see record highs once again. What's so crazy is that it took me 8 months to like, it should take one day, you know? And just, you just think about what it is that I'm doing, and it feels like it should take 1 or 2 days, a week max, to just hold longer. But yet it takes me 8 months to do something so simple. Why? It's becoming easier to not sell though. You know, it's becoming much easier to like hold a position. Still keeping an eye on areas like this just in case it sneaks up, but I only want to use really small size because it could be choppy here and we might not get the red to green. And if we don't, you know, we don't want to take big losses here. All right, I think I'm gonna walk away. Is it too early to walk away? Maybe, but I'm gonna walk away. I mean, let's not. Okay, let's not say that. I'll wait. I'll wait. I'll watch this consolidation here. If this consolidation doesn't hold up, I'm gonna walk away. I gave back like 100 off the top, a little more than 100 already. So what's the low? 88. If the gut says to walk, walk. I go off the chart, man. Nah, let me stop. No, but I'll go off the chart. I always go off the chart, but it needs to hold up this consolidation. Can we get a trend line here? Let's see. If we get something like this and it breaks out again, but you know, we're coming off a double top, there it needs to be really strong. In fact, I'd like to see confirmation over to 720. For the people that's taking the low levels, I mean, they're getting a couple of cents, you know, from 88, it's up here. I know a couple of guys that love those trades. Like, hey, I'm in at 95. I can be selling right here 716 for a great trade, you know. The risk is taking 788 or 688 and it teleports down to like, you know, 760 or 660 rather. And there's a fake topping wick here to give short sellers more confidence. Maybe some manipulation is going on. But Big Steve, based off of what I'm seeing, right, is that as long as we can over time manage our risk earlier in the day to keep losses small on stocks where we're seeing false breakouts, we're going to stand a very good chance. We're going to stand a very good chance. I'm long here again, 720. Come on. Okay, I'm flip-flopping a little too much. I wanted to see it hold over 720, but a little too much churn. Okay, okay. Yeah, I'm saying over bro, look at this freaking thing. 730 now. Just to slap me in the face. Oh, that is brutal. That is brutal. Well, it's still strong. That's what this means. Although he took 3 losses there for another $100. Bro, come on. It looks good, but it needs to break. If it breaks 750, then it might keep going all the way. Damn, son. Ah, okay. All right, I'm sticking around a little longer. The chart is still bullish here. Short sellers who are in could get a little nervous the closer we get to 750 because we could potentially see that new high of day, and that could get them to cover their shares, which means fuel to the fire. Which means fuel to the fire. Bro, I'll walk when the chart tells me to walk. No sooner. Unless there's just no rhythm here, you know? The stock is very bullish right now. There's a nice 17-cent trade there. You see, you know, I mean, there's you can make more, you can lose, but at the end of the day, if you're managing risk, if the stock is still bullish, that's all you can ask for, you know? It's not about being greedy. It's just about trading the chart. But for anybody who does walk away, you know, you can't blame them if they want to. We do what we must. There's no right or wrong answer. There's a good chance it breaks here. You know, let's see what it does. Very close, very close. Smokes, but no cigar there, 50. Big levels here, big levels. If a consolidation doesn't hold, then you know the next level down is the previous low. If it teleports down below that level, then it's more than likely finished. I'm watching at the volume profile here, and let's see if it gets back over 35.40. That should be interesting. $34 false breakout. $680s, $690s if it doesn't hold. Short sellers feeling a little less scared here now that we're pulling back some more. So it'll need to find support somewhere again and then curl back up. Right now, their feet is on the desk and they're smoking a cigar. But that test of 50 just now definitely was interesting, right? You got one guy gets a little too nervous about the position and covers, and then boom, 780. Oh man. Here's 725. Short sellers getting afraid again here. We're 7 cents off the level of high of day. Damn, bro. Look at that squeeze, brother. I wasn't in on that one. Holy smokes. See, that's what needed to happen the last time. Although I wasn't in the trade, or was in the trade, it didn't quite go, right? It looks like it might be finished, though. Well, once we get this new high, we shouldn't be back down here. So I'm going to take the $500 and walk away. Now the chart is giving me something to say, hey, despite extreme strength, we're still seeing weakness. We should already be halting up. This should never happen in a strong context. If we're going to drop back to 60, 50 and hold, but not come back down like this, this is, people are just going to go short again here. Even if somebody got squeezed, more people are just going to go short. So I think this is a good area here. All right. I'll take the $500 and walk away. Recovering yesterday's losses pretty good. We just have to continue to work on getting a little bit more size. And also on the days where we're seeing more chop early in the day, just to avoid the chop, to try and position ourselves to do well later. Our biggest position today, 1,800 shares. Nothing compared to the size we could take and that we will take. And so, we're just going to keep working on taking more size. I don't know. I don't know. I'm walking. Okay. Take care. Stay safe. Stay green. I'll catch you guys in the next one. And remember on YouTube, by the way, remember our disclaimer, okay? Remember that day trading is risky. I can bring down the P&L here as well, or else I'll forget. Let me just pull it down now. Day trading is risky business, okay? Do not trade with money that you cannot afford to lose. Keep in mind that if you're new, you got to take it slow. Slowest is the fastest way. You got to manage your risk. You got to be careful. And as you guys are seeing from me here, just slow and steady and just trying to take it one day at a time. You know, we've had to make some adjustments to the strategy. At some point, I plan on reteaching the entire, probably not the entire, but I plan on reteaching some of the course over time. But until then, you know, we're going to continue to take it nice and slow. And I'll do it live because, you know, I was made for this, right? So in the future, when you guys are seeing me making 5,000 a day every day, you know, I don't want anyone to think that it just happened overnight, right? Because before I became massively green, you know, with the hyper scalping style, exactly what you're seeing now is exactly what was happening before I came on YouTube. And so, you know, for me, I'm just enjoying the process. It's another good day. It's another day of building and moving forward. And so I feel good. I hope you guys do too. And you know, I'll continue to be here every day, all the time, always. So even for the people who might have left the channel, once they realize there's nothing better on YouTube, they'll be right back here because this is the #1 live streaming show in the world. Slow and steady, red, green, anything in between. The name of the game is just making slow progress. And we're feeling very good. You know, yesterday we had a red day, but, you know, we're feeling very good. We're exactly where we need to be. We just have to keep studying, keep working, keep growing. And I think studying really is what's going to give me the confidence to keep taking more size. So more of that behind the scenes. And, you know, I'll catch you guys. I got some videos coming out pretty soon. We're going to have a yearly recap, day trade dash review, as well as the new brokers that I'm using in Guardian, Sage, and Webull. E-Trade I've always had E-Trade, but it's more like the fourth string platform, you know. The top two, we got Sage, Guardian, and Webull for, you know, if we want market orders on some stocks, we use Webull. But you guys will see on a day like this, like I'm actually using Sage, Guardian. Those platforms are like, I mean, it just comes down to what you want to do, right? For Webull, I got to call Tim. Actually, there's this guy in the chat room that's been trying to show me some stuff, but I got to call Tim because I need a hotkey. I need this hotkey, and I can't figure out how to make it. And I know how to make every hotkey on the DAS platforms, right? So Sage and you know, Guardian, or even like the old TD with DAS. Like I know how to make. So look at the sell-off here, right? I think it's the best place to walk away, right? Because once we break out here, there's no reason that we should be back down. Like this should never happen. Short sellers who are definitely in here all along this range from 760 to let's say $7 should be covering their trades, and we should be pushing to 850 into a halt going up. There's no reason to not, you know. The only bad thing is that I didn't have shares over 730 because the last time I took the setup, it didn't work right here on this red candle. So maybe I got a little timid to jump back in again, and I kind of missed the move there up to 780. But all in all, good day. Tomorrow we'll be back again, and the key will be for me to go slow to make sure we don't start too deep into the red if it's a choppier start. But then when we do get something to hold up, just pushing myself there to take more size is going to be the key. And the size is it makes your P&L exponential, right? Like on a day like this, I'm having 60 cent winners. Instead of being up 500, it'll be like 4,800. You know, the difference will, like, you will feel the difference. But it's coming slowly and steadily. You know, we're going to make it happen because if we can see it in our mind, we can hold it in our hands. So with that being said, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and you know, we're seeing a little bit of love here in the chat room. Yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay safe, stay green.